Welcome to the Launchpad. My name is Laura Kidd and I make music as Penfriend. I'm here with my actual real life friend.
And that's me, and I'm Charlie Stone.
This is my attic studio room in Nottingham where I recorded the album that we're going to talk to you about today.
Okay, so we're going to listen to House of Stories by Penfriend. We're going to start with track 1, which is called House of Stories. So Laura, the way that opens, it's so intense. I can't think of another album that starts in quite the same way as that, because usually you either have upbeat pop songs, intro, Happy comes in, or something kind of mellow. And you've gone straight in for that bit where you've opened the door at a gig that you turned up slightly late for, and they've got to a really intense middle eight of a song, and there's all this dramatic keyboard motif and the pounding drums and this really full-on bass sound, and it's really intense. Was that your intention to start the...
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, so the album is called House of Stories. I was thinking about it as a story or indeed as a book. What I love about my favourite books is that the first sentence pulls you straight into the action.
Right.
And it's the same thing I love about my favourite songs, the first sentence, killer first line. I've talked about it lots before, and I've always tried to have a killer first line, if I can, in a song. It doesn't always work out, but I do try my best. So I try to do that with this song, but I also try to do it musically with this song. So when I was talking to my drummer Max about what I wanted for this song, I said to him, it needs to open as if it's the end. So it's like crazy, crazy fills at the beginning, really intense, as if it's the end of the song. So it's the crescendo, but it's at the beginning. We're right into the action. And he, I think, thought I was kidding or wanted to be polite about it. So I had to keep encouraging him to, and I was like, no, I really mean it. It needs to be like, and I would cut the end out, like his great fills from the end, and put them at the beginning and say, this is what I mean. Could you please do that? So it was completely intentional, yes.
That's amazing, because that is literally what it sounds like. It is like I say, like you've burst into a room and at the most dramatic point, and there it is.
Yeah, well, you're sucked in, and hopefully my plan is to hold on to you throughout the whole album.
Yeah. Until
the end, when I will finally let you go. And hopefully something's changed, because that's what a story is. A story is something that changes someone. Whether it's you as the reader, whether it's a character changing, and it can be the tiniest change, but that's what makes something a story.
So I'm interested, because this is the opening track, obviously, House of Stories, for the album, which is cool. Did you have this track first? Did you have the concept of the album and then you wrote a song to go with the concept?
Yes,
or?
So I had the concept of the album a few years ago. I went to Lisbon in 2021. It was my first trip since any of the COVID stuff and lockdowns and things. I'd become pretty much a hermit through that whole time. And I decided to go on this trip, and it was quite a life-changing trip for me. And I came across this museum called the Casa, I'm going to say it so badly because I can't speak Portuguese at all, but Casa de Historias. I think it's Casa de Historias, and it's Paula Rego, the painter. It's her art museum up in Cascais, which is outside of Lisbon anyway, along the coast. And Casa de Historias, I looked it up, and it's House of Stories, and I thought that is a keeper. I want that. I want to use that as my next album. And I had just put out Exotic Monsters in May 2021, so I'd started to think about new songs for my next solo album while I was in the middle of recording a collaboration project, but I wanted to have the title. So I do often mostly have the title first when I write albums. House of Stories wasn't a song that existed till fairly recently. So I think just before I started recording last July, August time, I wrote House of Stories. But I knew I had to have a song called House of Stories because the album's called House of Stories, and I wanted it to open with House of Stories.
Right.
But I also wrote the last song around the same time because I was very conscious that I wanted it to be a story. And so I needed to have a very strong beginning and a very strong ending that made sense, because it's about the story of the album having a shape.